Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today we are going to be making an adorable lucky leprechaun. This is made for students ages 5 and older. So the first step to make the leprechaun, we want to find the middle of the page. So we look from side to side, find the middle. Top to bottom, find the middle. So right in the center of the page. Put your finger right there. Okay. Now we're going to put a little line. Now we're going to turn this line into an oval. So an oval, I come up and around. See how I'm making an oval? Up and around. And then I'm going to go the other side, up and around, and connect it. My oval's a little lopsided. That's okay. It doesn't have to be a perfect oval. Now above this, we're going to do a letter V on both sides. Watch, let's look at his little eyes. Here, the eyes are closed. See how they make a letter V above it? One on each side. So what I do is I come to this side, go up, draw a letter V. I go to this side of the oval, go up, put a little letter V. It's okay if they're not the exact same size. You can always make them a little bit bigger to match. And of course, if you want to make your own eyes, you can design your own eyes. But I like these little closing eyes because he's closing his eyes and wishing because he found a lucky Clover. Now we're going to make a nice big smile. Look at his smile. You can design your own smile. You can make little lips. You can make big lips. So watch how I'm going to do this. I'm going on one side of the oval. I'm just going to go below it. And I'm going to go down and up like a letter U. So I went on one side of the oval, jumped over, went down and around. And then I'm making a little cheeky smile. So I'm just going to put a little line on the top. And you can do it on both sides or just one side. Now we're going to make his face shape. We're going to come around. See, and he has a big fluffy beard. So on one side of the letter V's, I'm going to do a number 1. And I'm going to put another one on the other side. Do you see how I skipped a little space? And now I'm coming out and out. I'm going around his mouth, aren't I? And then I'm coming down around his mouth. Take your time and make it slow. It doesn't have to be the exact shape that I made mine. We're just going around the face area. Let's add a hat on top because the lucky leprechaun often wears the wonderful green hat. So we're going to put a line across. And then we're going to do another line above. And then we're going to make part of the hat brim. The brim of the hat is the top part. See where it touches your head? It's the part that sticks out from your head. Sometimes it shades our face from the sun. The brim of the hat. So I'm coming out and back around. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Out and back around. Now we're going to make the top part of the hat. It's going to come up, and you can make it as big or as short as you'd like. You can make it really tall, or you can make it short. however much space you have at the top of your page. This one I made shorter, and this one I made nice and tall. And for the top, I'm just going to give it a curve. Now the leprechauns have these buckles and some pretty patterns on their hat. So we can add a buckle to the hat, which is a square or rectangle. And we practice making these at the beginning of the year. Straight line down, straight line down. Connect, connect. We have a square or a rectangle. And I'm going to put a number 1 in the middle. Now we can make the band. So I come across, and I come across. I go slow and careful. I don't want to have my line come out of the hat. And I do the same on this side to make a band. Now let's look at his beard. He's a mischievous little leprechaun. And he runs around looking for 4-leaf clovers. He runs around looking for gold. He looks for rainbows. And he has a scruffy beard, which is kind of a beard that's all jagged lines. Look at his lines. You could make a scruffy beard like mine. You could make it curly or bumpy or wavy. Watch how I'm going to do it. I'm going to come up. Scruffy. See how I make wiggly lines back and forth all around. A scruffy beard. Some little leprechauns have pointy ears. If you want pointy ears, you can do pointy, or you can just make it curved like the letter C. I'm going to just come up for the ears. Up for the ears, up and back to the head, and back to the head. So I have 2 pointy ears, kind of like an elf. We can add detail inside the ears, a little line. Now, my leprechaun is in a field of clovers. Today, he's looking for his lucky 4-leaf clover. So let's draw some clovers at the bottom. Let me show you how to make a clover. I come down here and I start with a dot, and I'm going to go up and up. And then I'm going to come around and around. So it forms a heart. So now we're going to come out and out again. Connect, connect. Now you're going to come out again, and then use a bump. Down and around, down and around. So I have my big 3-leaf clover. Now we're going to do another one over here. Start with a dot. You want to make sure you leave plenty of room around here. Come up, up. Now we're going to add, it's like an M, so a small letter M. And then we come out from the center again, down and out, down and out. And this side's almost like a small letter W. It's the way you make hearts. And then you add another one coming on this side. But I make them nice and big so we don't have to draw lots of them. Down and around, down and around. And then I'm going to do another one on this side. And this is a V again, the same way. So it's the same way, like a V. Up and around, up and around. And we're going to do it again. V shape. And then the 2 bumps. V shape. 2 bumps. So on your own, we can fill the page up even with smaller ones, doing the same process. A dot, your V, small letter M, and you can fill up with lots of them. The next thing we're going to do is add his little body peeking through the clover fields. So I start off, I put a number 1 under his chin right to a clover. And then somewhere on this scruffy beard, I come over and up. We're starting to form his hand. And then I make a thumb because we're going to have him grabbing. So I'm going to do a thumb. So I come up and back down. A nice big thumb. And we're going to put the lucky shamrock in his hand. So I'm going to do a line right to the thumb and stop at the thumb. And then go right down past the thumb. That's going to be the stem for the lucky shamrock. And now near his thumb, I'm going to do a W. A W. And it almost touches the stem. And then I'm going to touch the thumb and come around my W right to the stem. These are going to be his fingers. See how my fingers turn and grab? We just drew the fingers. This was our W. You can add another little finger right here if you want. Just a curve, like a U-shaped curve. And I'm going to bring this down right back here. And then I'm going to go down to the shamrock. This will be his body. Let me show you here. See how his body's behind the shamrocks. Or the clovers. You can call them clovers or shamrocks. And we're going to do the other side of his body. So on this side of his head, come on down to a shamrock. And for the other arm, I just have it come right down to a shamrock. The other hand is behind these shamrock. Now, let's put in our special 4-leaf clover. For the 4-leaf clover, what I do, come on up, put a dot, and we want 4 of these. So I'm going to do a V, and then I'm going to do a capital letter A directly below it. But I'm not going to put the little bar across for the A. Yep, it looks like an X. Then I'm going to do a M and a W at the bottom. So there's 2 of the leaves of the clover. And then I turn it this way. And I'm going to do the same, a V, capital letter A. And then I can do my M and W. And there's my lucky clover, or my lucky shamrock. You can add lots of these clovers, because we want him in a big field. And as I get farther away, here's the big ones in the front. Then when he's in a field that's really big. So as they get back, I'm going to get smaller. And you can fill these in on your own. Smaller clovers. And when you get really fat back, maybe it's only a few bumps on the clover. Look at this. Bump, bump, bump. The ones that are super far away are just little dots or circles. Because these are really far away. As they get closer, we can see all the petals. And I just might want part of one down here because the other parts are going off my page. And we just make a part of one. And then just some small ones back here, far away. When I did mine, I just used some green crayon. You can use green crayon or oil pastel and just color the small ones in even. See back here? With your crayon. And I used green, but then if you have a yellow-green color, let me show you yellow-green. If you use the yellow-green, it's a combination of greens and yellows. That yellow-green, I love it. It's one of my favorite colors. And that makes little small clovers. So that's how it looks like he's in a field. That's how I make it look like he's in a field with hundreds of clovers. And when you have hundreds of clovers, then it's hard to find a four-leaf clover, isn't it? So you can fill up your page, and I just press right with the crayon. You don't have to draw it first. And there is my little guy looking for a clover. So I'm going to go ahead now and show you what my kids have made today. So we're going to color in our pictures and we'll show you what they did. Thank you for viewing the video. If you have not already subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And I want to thank all my patrons for signing up for my Patreon account. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the title of the video. It will take you to a link to the Patreon account.